Welcome to teachmeall.com. In this video, we're going to show you how to change the serpentine belts on this 2001 GMC Sierra 1500.
This one's a little bit different. It actually has two serpentine belts. One of the belts powers the air conditioner compressor, and the other one powers the water pump, power steering pump, and the alternator. So a little bit different.
So now we're going to go over the tools we need to do this job properly.
We have two new belt tensioners, one for both belts. We have a new idler pulley for the main belt. We also have two new serpentine belts. We have a 3/8 drive ratchet with a 3-inch extension, a 1/2-inch drive ratchet with a 15mm socket, a 50mm box end wrench, some standard screwdrivers, and a small standard screwdriver, a shop light, some safety goggles. Then we're going to open the hood. Then we're going to show you what we removed in order to get to the top of the belts. These two hose clamps to hold on part of the air intake. Then we use a flathead screwdriver to remove this clamp. It's kind of tricky. We have to use one on the inside and one on the outside to kind of help pry it apart. Then we're going to remove the hose clamp on both ends. We'll slide our air intake off the filter box. And where it goes into the engine. Slide this out of the way and set it someplace safely. Then we're going to use our 15mm box end wrench to relieve the tension on the belt tensioner. And we'll slide our belt off. Now we're going to remove the idler pulley first using our 15mm socket and ratchet. Once you get the bolt out, we can remove the idler pulley. And here, I'm going to show you this retaining washer on the back. We're going to use our screwdrivers to remove it. And we're not going to reuse this, so don't worry about damaging it. Once we lift up some of the tabs, we can pull it off. And we'll transfer our old hardware to our new pulley. Make sure the pulleys are the same size. And reinstall our old hardware. We'll slide it back into position. Start threading our bolt in. Now we're going to use our 15mm ratchet and socket to tighten it up. Here is the belt tensioner. And these are the bolts we're going to have to remove the belt tensioner. There's 3 of them. Again, using our 15mm socket and ratchet, we'll go ahead and remove these bolts. With all three bolts removed, we can remove our belt tensioner. Now we're going to compare the new belt tensioner to the old one. Make sure they look the same. Then we're going to put the new belt tensioner in place and reinstall our bolts. Now we're going to torque our bolts to 35 foot-pounds once we have them tight. Now to get the other belt off, we're going to remove the splash shield under the vehicle. This is held on by 5 bolts, and here's the position of them. Again, using our 50mm socket and ratchet, we'll go ahead and remove these bolts, and we'll remove the splash shield. Slide the splash shield out of the way and put it somewhere safe. And now we're going to use our 3/8 ratchet with our 3-inch extension to remove the tension on the belt tensioner. Slide our belt off. This belt only powers the air conditioner. Once the belt's off, we're going to go ahead and remove the belt tensioner. You remove the belt tensioner by removing these 2 bolts. And now here we use our 50mm socket and ratchet, and we also used a short extension. With the bolts removed, we remove our belt tensioner. We compare the 2 belt tensioners, the old one to the new one, and you'll notice that the old one had a pin to help line it up. The new one doesn't have that, but still with the 2 bolt holes, we should be able to line it up fine anyway. Put it into place, put our bolts in, tighten up by hand. Using our socket and ratchet, we'll go ahead and tighten the bolts down. Then we'll torque them to 35 foot-pounds unless otherwise specified in the instructions that came with your belt tensioner. Now we're going to install our new belt for the air conditioner. Then we're going to use our 3/8 ratchet and extension. And we'll relieve the tension on our belt tensioner and we'll slide our belt over it. Then we'll add a tension back. Make sure our belt is correctly installed. Move our ratchet. Now here's a diagram on the front of the engine that shows the routing, the proper routing for the belt. So you can see the dotted lines are for the air conditioner. Then we're going to move to the top of the vehicle, install the main belt, again following the diagram. And here we don't put the belt over the alternator until we get the tensioner released. Then we put the belt over it and release it, add the tension back. And then we're going to reinstall our splash shield. Reinstall our bolts. Line them up all by hand first. We're going to tighten them down with our 15mm socket and ratchet. Once our bolts are tight, we're going to move back to the top and reinstall our intake hose. Slide one end into the filter box. The other part back into the engine. We'll reconnect this clamp. This slides together and snaps into place. Go ahead and tighten down our hose clamps with our flathead screwdriver. Then we're going to start the engine to make sure we've routed our belts correctly.
Well, we hope this video will help you change the serpentine belts, the belt tensioner, and the idler pulleys on your 2001 GMC Sierra 1500.
Send any comments you may have to comment@teachmeall.com. And as always, thank you for visiting teachmeall.com and have a great day.